Hey, what does a 19th century German immigrant have to do with one of the most sought after and controversial error cards in all of baseball? And what is blibber blubber? Let's find out together after the intro. Fleer Corporation was founded in 1885 by German immigrant Frank H. Fleer as a confectionery manufacturer. It was the first company to successfully develop bubblegum in 1906. The original product was not commercially available as the gum, then called blibber blubber, was brittle and sticky, to the point where a solvent and hard scrubbing was required to remove it from the face after the bubble had burst. However, in 1928, Fleer employee Walter Deemer improved the formula and gave it its traditional pink coloring and renamed the product Double Bubble. Fleer introduced its first sports cards long before many of its competitors. In 1923, baseball cards were included with its Bob's and Fruit Hearts candy. These were essentially the same as the W515 strip cards. In 1959, Fleer partnered with baseball great Ted Williams to release a set highlighting his career. Fleer continued to produce its Baseball Greats series in 1960 and 1961. The set featured Ted Williams and other retired players. The 1961 set would continue to be marketed in 1962, while the company focused on signing enough active players for a set to be released in 1963. This set would include active players like 1962 National League MVP Maury Wills in a 67-card set. Unfortunately for Fleer, since Topps held the rights for most active players, this Fleer set was not very successful. Instead, Fleer turned its attention to football and the emergence of the AFL, producing a set in 1960, while Topps made a set for the NFL. In 1961, both Fleer and Topps produced sets for both leagues. 1962 and 1963, the leagues were again divided between the two companies, and Fleer lost all of its contracts with the AFL to Topps in 1964, and the NFL signed with the rival Philadelphia Gum Company. With no sports product left, Fleer turned to filing an administrative complaint against Topps. Focusing on the baseball market, Fleer alleged unfair competition by Topps and its exclusive contracts. A hearing examiner originally ruled against Topps, though the commission reversed its decision on appeal, concluding the contracts only covered the sale of baseball cards with gum. Fleer could still sell cards with other, quote, low-cost products. Choosing not to pursue the matter further, Fleer sold its remaining player contracts to Topps for $395,000 in 1966, or about $3.8 million today. Just a couple of years later, in 1968, the Major League Baseball Players Association approached Fleer about a group license to produce cards, starting in 1973 when their contract with Topps would expire. Fleer passed on this offer, however, since the timeline was so far in the future. Fleer tried to break into the baseball market again in 1975, asking Topps to waive its exclusive rights so Fleer could produce stickers, stamps, and other small items with active players. When Topps refused, Fleer sued, and after a 5-year legal battle, Fleer emerged victorious. An appellate court affirmed the 1965 Trade Commission finding. Fleer, and anyone else, could produce and distribute baseball cards with other low-cost products, just not with gum. So Fleer packaged their cards with team logo stickers. Now, before we rip into these packs, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Hit that like button if you like what you're seeing, and consider subscribing because we release a lot of content here on this channel. I don't want you to miss anything. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to Todd Williams at Williams Sports Memorabilia in Cherokee, Iowa. I was able to meet him this past fall at the Chicago Sports Spectacular, and many of the packs that are in frame right now were provided from his booth at very reasonable prices. So, Todd, thank you very much. And without further ado, let's get into ripping these packs. Following their court victory, Fleer rushed the 1981 baseball set through production. Because of the accelerated time frame for release, the set is rife with errors. There are multiple variations for some cards, and every pitcher's statistics are labeled as, quote, batting record. Setting that aside, the card design is simplistic and visually appealing. Printed on a white background, the player photo is contained inside a portrait-oriented stadium. The team name in script contained within a baseball at the bottom left, and the player name and position printed in a gold block along the bottom. By the way, stadium is the name for a rectangle with rounded corners. The set does contain notable rookies of Fernando Valenzuela, Kirk Gibson, and Harold Baines, along with the star power of Nolan Ryan, George Brett, Reggie Jackson, Ricky Henderson, Pete Rose, and Ozzie Smith. So let's rip open this 1981 Fleer Baseball wax pack and see if we can find any of those stars or rookies in here. Again, this is the only year that Fleer had gum. Fortunately, it's just powdery. Bob Walk. Jim Wolford. Cesar Cedeno. Bert Blyleven. That's a good one to pick up. We've got Greg Gross. Ed Whitson. And here's on the pitcher, it says major and minor league batting record, but he's got wins, losses, ERA, strikeouts, etc., etc. We've got Joaquin Andahar, Jerry Martin, Butch Weingar, Paul Splitorf, Mike Vail, Tom Underwood, Glenn Adams, a very underwhelming pack so far, UL Washington, Jorge Orta, Rafael Ramirez, and we're going to end with Darrell Jackson. Well, we did get the Bert Blyleven. That's the 1981 Fleer. If Fleer's 1981 design was simplistic, its 1982 design was minimalistic. A portrait-oriented photo with player name, position, and team in a team-colored oval centered at the bottom. Errors were still plentiful, including misspellings, biographical mistakes, and a notable reverse image. Still, it's a solid-looking set with plenty of stars and the monstrous Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card. Players like Pete Rose, Nolan Ryan, Ricky Henderson, and Ozzie Smith hold above-average value, and the one error card of note is the John Littlefield reverse image error, showing the right-hander pitching lefty. This card can fetch around $600 in a PSA 9. Let's hope for that card as we open up a pack of 1982 Fleer Baseball. Looking for that Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card or other notable stars. This is the first year that Fleer had stickers. So we see they have the Detroit Tigers logo sticker. Cards are upside down. Dave Parker, that's not a bad way to start. Don Baylor, player and manager for a very long time. Ramon Aviles, Alan Ashby, Damaso Garcia, looks like this one's got ink on it, Bob Horner. Here's the backs. We have Ed Lynch, more ink stains. Bob Baylor, Scott Sanderson, Mike Scioscia, I believe, is that his rookie? No. Still a good card. Barry Foote, Dan Graham, Moose Haas, Steve Dillard. We're going to end with Bob Ojeda. All right, got a Mike Scioscia and a Dave Parker. That is the 1982 Fleer baseball set. For the third year in a row, Fleer went with a rounded corner photo set on a solid background, this time a gray-beige color. And for the first time, Fleer used official team logos on the face of the card, along with bold block lettering for the player name and a smaller font for their position. This is also the first year Fleer put its company name on the face of the card. The errors are virtually non-existent, and although the photo quality remained average, the rookie class was astronomical. Wade Boggs, Ryan Sandberg, and Tony Gwynn are the chase rookies, while Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken, Ricky Henderson, and Ozzie Smith lead the way with the star power in the set. So let's see if we can find one of those star rookies in our 1983 Fleer baseball wax pack. Looking for Nolan Ryan, Wade Boggs, or Tony Gwynn. Here's our sticker of the Blue Jays. Cards are upside down. Starting with the wrong Padre, Gene Richards. Wayne Gross. Home run threats, Ogilvy and Reggie Jackson. We got a Tom Niedenfuhrer. Greg Brock. Jim Catt. Being interviewed by ESPN. That's pretty cool. Dave Winfield. Severely off center, but a star hit nonetheless. Mike Moore. Burt Robridge. Robridge. Randy Moffett. Mike Easler. Mickey Hatcher. Pete Vukovich. Steve Trout. We're going to end with Ron Kittle. Ron Kittle isn't bad. And that is the 1983 Fleer set. Fleer's card designs seem to focus primarily on the player photo, minimizing team and player names. The 1984 set design was no exception. A large picture, this time with squared corners, showcases improved photo quality with bold blue stripes along the top and bottom edges where player names would reside. The set featured two big New York rookies, Darryl Strawberry for the Mets, Don Mattingly for the Yankees. Second-year cards of Gwynn, Boggs, and Sandberg keep pace with other stars like Nolan Ryan, Ricky Henderson, and Ozzie Smith. So let's open up this pack of 1984 Fleer baseball and see if we can pull any of those rookies or if we can score any of those stars. There's our California Angels team sticker. Starting with Billy Martin of the Yankees checklist. Jesse Orosco. Bobby Brown. Roy Smalley. Ben Ogilvy. John Butcher. Ozzie Virgil. Floyd Rayford. Chet Lemon. Dan Dreisen. Ooh, the Pine Tar Incident. George Brett and Gaylord Perry. That's a decent card. Gary Lucas. Pete Rose. Charlie Hustle. That's a nice looking card. Leon Roberts, and we're going to end with Danny Heap, and that is the 1984 Fleer set. Fleer returned to a gray background for the 1985 design. Paired with team color border and nameplate, the cards look sharp. Team logo and player information were moved to the top edge, and the set was sequenced according to team standing from the previous year and alphabetically within each team, making Doug Blair of the Detroit Tigers the first card in the set. Roger Clemens, Dwight Gooden, Eric Davis, and Kirby Puckett lead the rookie class, while perennial stars Nolan Ryan, Tony Gwynn, Ricky Henderson, and Cal Ripken hold major value in high grades. Let's see if we can pull any of those cards in this pack of 1985 Fleer baseball. Starting off with a Phillies sticker, jersey, and pennant. And look at this, first card. Don Mattingly, second year. Nice card. Rick Manning. Fred Braining. Dwayne Walker. Jeff Leahy. Larry Herndon. Nick Asaski. Ron Washington. Jerry Royster. Al Holland. 3 balls. Okay. Hal McRae. Mike Fitzgerald. Luis De Leon. Frank Tanana. We're going to end with Dan Schatzeder. We got the Don Mattingly. That's not bad. That is the 1985 Fleer set. In 1986, Fleer backed their photos with a dark blue background. They also returned to the rounded corners on the photo. The dark background makes high grades very difficult to achieve, as any imperfection would stand out. For the first time, Fleer designed a landscape-oriented prospects card. These cards featured 2 rookies, usually from the same team, with side-by-side photos. This design would continue through the 1990 set. Notable rookies in this set include Cecil Fielder, Paul O'Neill, and Jose Canseco. Second-year stars Roger Clemens and Kirby Puckett have beautiful high-value cards, along with stars Ryan Sandberg, Tony Gwynn, Nolan Ryan, and Don Mattingly. 1986 is considered to be the beginning of the junk wax era of card collecting, a period of time stretching approximately 8 to 10 years, marked by overproduction of cards that would, in the long term, weigh down card values regardless of the star power of the players represented. Let's see if we can pull any of those star cards in this pack of 1986 Fleer baseball. Looking for the Jose Canseco rookie. We have the Atlanta Braves stickers. Starting with Cal Ripken Jr. That is a beautiful card. Let's be gentle with it. Jody Davis. Ed Vandenberg. Mike Trillo. Now they're really off center. Toby Hara. Sam Khalifa. Bob Nepper. Carney Lansford. We have a Gary Carter All-Star. That's nice. And there is a Cecil Fielder rookie card. Here's the prospects card that I was talking about. Side-by-side photos. They're not from the same team, but that is a nice Cecil Fielder rookie. This is not a bad pack. Marty Bystrom. Gorman Thomas. He was a threat back in the day. Ron Hassey. Bob Gibson. We're going to end with an Astros checklist that is very nearly not on the card at all. But hey, 1986 doesn't seem to disappoint. We got a lot of good stars. That is the 1986 Fleer set. A blank card from Fleer's 1987 set would be instantly recognizable. The sky blue background fading into white in the middle of the card reminds me of looking out an airplane window mid-flight. Player name and position are posted in the upper left corner. Team logo are fixed at the bottom right. A new photo editing technique allowed for the player to be separated from the natural background of the picture and exist outside its borders. This method would be used many more times in future designs. The regular issue set had a handful of valuable rookies, including Barry Larkin, Will Clark, Bobby Bonilla, and Barry Bonds. Fleer's updates set had Greg Maddux and Mark McGwire. Stars to hold on to include Ricky Henderson, Nolan Ryan, Tony Gwynn, and Kirby Puckett. Overproduction has depressed prices of this otherwise loaded set, a trend that would continue for years to come. That aside, let's see if we can pull any of those stars in this pack of 1987 Fleer Baseball. I don't want to lose those cards. There we go. 1987. Here we are starting with our stickers, the Pittsburgh Pirates and Toronto Blue Jays. The cards are right side up this time. We have Todd Worrell to start. Mike Diaz, Charles Hudson, Darnell Coles, Glenn Wilson, Chris Chambliss. We have a Superstar Special, Righetti and Don Oss. Now we'll put them up. Jeff Sellers, Corey Snyder. Look, they even got the ball outside of the background. Steve Garvey. All right, we'll put up Steve Garvey. Richard Dotson. Thad Bosley. Rick Dempsey with a very disgusting looking ink bubble. Joe Cowley, Scott Garletts, Keith Atherton. We're going to end with Bob Melvin, and that is the 1987 Fleer set. Fleer tried and failed in their 1988 design. Like the prior year, the player was separated from the natural background of the photo, which was then blended into a white background. Angled red and blue stripes were added for some reason, likely to add color to an otherwise bland card. The poor design and print runs that likely ran into the 8 figures made this a forgettable set. The cards were simply everywhere, leaving young collectors desensitized and longtime hobby enthusiasts jaded. Even rock-solid rookies like Mark Grace, a player with the most hits in the 90s, and Tom Glavine, a consistent pitcher on one of the best starting rotations ever assembled, a world champion, and a World Series MVP, can't prop up this pig of a set. Look for Don Mattingly, Jose Canseco, Nolan Ryan, and Tony Gwynn to help you recoup your investment in this atrocious series. Personally, I did not like these cards. Again, when I first started collecting, the 1988 sets were literally everywhere. I don't like the design, but we'll see if we can pull some of the stars. We have our Angels logo sticker, starting with Teddy Higuera, Jeff Dedman, Donnell Nixon, John Perlman, Willie Hernandez, Benito Santiago. We'll put up Benito Santiago. That's probably going to be the best one we get. Ray Knight, Mariano Duncan, Dwayne Murphy, Vance Law, Bill Pacoda, Dave Concepcion. We'll put up Dave. Mike Loind, Rafael Santana. Going to end with Willie Frazier, and that is the 1988 Fleer set. The 1989 Fleer set design was an improvement over the previous year. Using stereotypical baseball pinstripes on a gray background helped get the brand back on track. The angular crop to the picture, with the player spilling over onto the background of the card, gives this design a sleek look. That's to say nothing of the controversy surrounding a couple of notable cards in the set. Perhaps the most infamous is the Billy Ripken fuckface card.
Did you just say the F word?
Fleer scrambled to correct the card when it was discovered that on the nub of the bat were the words fuckface.
Stop saying the word!
After many attempts, including whiteout and scribbles, Fleer settled on a black box to fully obscure the words fuckface.
Stop saying that!
Expos rookie Randy Johnson's card also went through a few variations, as Fleer tried to obscure a Marlboro Cigarettes billboard. Other big rookies include Gary Sheffield, Craig Biggio, John Smoltz, and Ken Griffey Jr. And hold on to stars like Tony Gwynn, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr., and Don Mattingly. I have it on good authority that this 1989 Fleer baseball wax pack comes from an error box, a box that was produced before they caught the Billy Ripken baseball bat. So we're going to rip open this pack and see if we can find any of those rookies, like Randy Johnson, which I already have, or Ken Griffey Jr., or if maybe we could get a Billy Ripken card. Here are the stickers: the Indians, the Tigers, the Royals, and the Brewers. We're going to start off with Damon Berryhill, Greg Brock, Jack Lazarco, Mark Davidson, Pat Perry, Lou Whitaker, Ed Whitson. We have a prospects of Steve Wilson and Cameron Drew, Dave Anderson, Old Man Charlie Huff. We got Bryn Smith, Floyd Bannister, Dave Leapier, oh no. We have Larry Anderson, ending with Rafael Santana. That is the 1989 Fleer set. In addition to baseball, Fleer helped restart the basketball card branch of the hobby. It released the 1986-87 set that included major basketball stars and rookies like Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, and of course, Fleer was the only basketball card manufacturer until 1989, when Hoops, Skybox, Topps, and Upper Deck joined the race. And as the hobby became more crowded and quality-driven, Fleer released higher quality sets, starting in 1991 with its Fleer Ultra product, and in 1993 with the high-gloss, thick-stock Flair. Frank Fleer's descendants sold the company for $70 million in 1989 to John W. Fleer and Charterhouse Investments. Marvel Entertainment purchased the company in 1992 for $540 million. Marvel also purchased Skybox for $150 million a few years later, creating Fleer Skybox. However, the 1994 Major League Baseball strike and NBA lockouts cut into profits, forcing Marvel into bankruptcy in 1996. Marvel reorganized and spun off its trading card business in 1997, and then sold Fleer Skybox in 1999 to a corporation owned by Alex Grass, founder of the drugstore Rite Aid. In 2005, Fleer would cease all production of baseball cards and put the brand up for sale to satisfy creditors. In July of 2005, Upper Deck would acquire the rights to the Fleer name for $6.1 million. In the following year, Upper Deck produced sets using Fleer, Fleer Ultra, Fleer Tradition, Flair, Skybox Autographics, and Fleer Greats of the Game. And the last Fleer branded baseball cards would be released in 2007 with Fleer and Fleer Ultra sets, although other major sports sets would continue to be produced. Thank you for watching to the end, and please give me a like if you learned something today, and consider subscribing for more content like this. I open 2 junk wax era packs every day, Monday to Saturday, so be sure to tune in for that. Again, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. Hey, here's a bonus if you stuck around past the end. That 1989 pack was absolutely atrocious. I have a second pack from that same box. We're going to see if we can pull that Billy Ripken error. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Pirates, Cardinals, Padres, Giants stickers. Here we go. Herm Winningham, Otis Nixon, Alvin Davis, Brett Butler, Tom Brookins, Fernando Valenzuela. That's a much better card. Mark Williamson, Juan Augusto, Dave Stewart. Sandy Alomar Jr., I believe that's his rookie. Steve Shields. Shane Rawley. Gino Petralli. Ozzie Virgil. Double Trouble, Andres Galarraga and Gerald Perry. And we're going to end with Ken Daly. That pack was much better. Sandy Alomar. All right, well, thank you for watching.